Good morning, traders. I'm Emily Vani, the CEO of the Investment Banking Institute and your host here at NewsWare's Trade Talk. Joining me is trading anchor Bill Olson, who brings more than 30 years of institutional trading experience to our program. At Trade Talk, we provide the facts, themes, and trading ideas for the day ahead. Today is Thursday, August 29th. Stocks are looking to make up some ground this morning after a down day on Wall Street yesterday. Ahead of Nivida's earnings, the major indices slid to close in the red. The Dow dropped 159 points, or 0.39%. The S&P 500 gave up 33 points, or 0.6%. The Nasdaq tumbled nearly 200 points, or 1.12%. Bill, let's get into today's action with what is happening in the markets this morning.
Yes, good morning, Emily. I'm watching the S&Ps. The S&Ps are up 0.23%, over 0.2%. That's a positive start for the day. And the markets this morning, they're reacting to Nivida's earnings. I mean, Nivida's earnings showed that hey, the company's still performing well, and those concerns about the Blackwell chip being delayed, well, they were refuted. I mean, they're on track. There was a minor flaw change that they had to do, design change. They did it. They're expecting billions of revenue from that chip in the fourth quarter, so that's all positive. But the stock's selling off because the fact is like, oh, you can't be this attractive, going forward. At some point in time, you're going to be actually, your earnings are going to actually come down. Well, that may be, but it wasn't last night, and it doesn't look like it's going to be next quarter. So, you saw Nvidia drop down to the, 116 level last night, but this morning we're trading, 121. So, I mean, we're moving back higher. Still down $4, $5, but there's still some room for it to move higher. We also got earnings reports from, Salesforce, CrowdStrike, Hewlett Packard, VEEV Systems, PSTG, and VEEV. They all delivered positive results. And after the bell today, we got DELL, we got Marvel, we got Autodesk, LULU, Ultra Beauty. They're all scheduled to report. Key economic report today is going to be the jobless claims. But tomorrow we get that PCE report, and that's really what the market's kind of starting to look forward to, because yes, it is expected to soften. You saw a lot of those outlets, media outlets are out there talking about how the European inflation is ebbing on due to lower energy prices. Well, the same will be true here with this report that we're getting tomorrow morning. That's going to be a positive for the markets. I do see, the media is kind of talking up, four 25 basis point cuts by the end of the year. There's no data to support this. I mean, this is just conjecture. It makes them feel good. It gives them ratings. That's why they do it. But realistically, we're getting a 25 basis point cut in September, and we'll see what happens from there on. But to think we're getting, four 25 basis point cuts between now and the end of the year, that's not a fact. There's no data to point to that. Looking overseas at the markets overseas, we're looking at the DAX this morning. The DAX is trading higher. It's up 0.66%, or 124 points. Listen, the data showed inflation in Germany's 6 important states was lower, and it's due to the dropping of energy prices. We're looking at the FTSE up 32 points, or about 0.4%. Banks are higher. Construction material stocks, they're leading the gains. We got the CAC up 54 points, or 0.71%. Autos are higher. Luxuries are higher. In one of the reasons auto stocks are higher, they're also higher in Germany as well. But EU car registrations moved higher in July, so that was a benefit to auto stocks, which is why you're seeing, the auto stocks gain in Germany and France this morning. We're taking a look at Asia last night. Asia was, it was mixed. We saw, the Nikkei dropped, 9 points, 0.02%. That's nothing. It essentially finished flat. The big thing here was the consumer confidence data that came out of Japan remains high. Hong Kong, on the other hand, it rose 0.5%, or 93 points. Consumer stocks really did lead that move. And then, China's Shanghai fell 14 points, which is about 0.5% for that market. I mean, the financial stocks were weak in China. Major broker cut the growth rates for China due to the ongoing property issues. Yes, but there's also concern about the PMI data that's coming out tomorrow being a week again. We'll have to see. And, that is also, that also affects oil prices too, because, we're a little concerned that they might come in weak and that would be weakening demand. But I'm looking at oil prices this morning and they are trading higher. We're up, WTI is at $74.88. That's up about 0.5%, whereas in Brent's at $78.93. That's up 0.36%. The oil was lower this morning. When I walked in, I turned on my screens. Oil was down 0.5%, so it has climbed back, which is good. Now, you also have that Libya situation, which remains an ongoing concern. And there's caution there because you don't know how long their production stoppage is going to last for. I mean, it could go on for a month. I don't think it's going to be too long because, there's an economic incentive for them to produce oil. And as long as they have the ability to turn that spigot back on, why would they delay it? I mean, there's going to be a need for them to pay their bills towards the end of the month. So they're going to need to have that spigot turned back on in order to generate revenue. So once that happens, you're going to see another, million barrels a month million barrels a day being added to the totals, and that's going to push oil prices down a little lower. And also, you got to remember the summer driving season; it ends this weekend. So we'll have to see what happens with oil prices once the summer driving season ends. So I'm a little concerned there. But that's what I have for you in terms of morning market action, Emily.
We hear there, Bill, that there is plenty in play today as we wait Thursday trading, including that economic data highlighting jobless claims, GDP numbers. But earnings are also a big headline here, not least of which those earnings from Nivida that came out after the bell yesterday. So let's start there. Bill, what is going on in terms of earnings action?
American Eagle just came out. AEO, they beat by a penny on lower revenue. Stock's not trading. It looks like it's going to open up lower by about 8%, which would be about $1.80. Ollie's Bargain Basement, they met. OLLI, Oscar Larry India. But they did it on higher revenue. OLLI. Stock's down. Yeah, it looks like it's down about 8%. Campbell Soup beat by a penny. They did that on lower revenue. CPB, Charlie Paul Boy, stocks up 0.5%. All right, so stocks up 1%. Best Buy, ticker BBY, they delivered a beat of 18 cents, and that was done on higher revenue. BBY, stocks up 7.2%. What else we got happening? HPQ, Henry Paul Quinton, they missed by 3 cents, but they did it on higher revenue. You look at HPQ this morning, and HPQ's down 3%. What else we got? They came out. CrowdStrike, CRWD, they beat by 7 cents on higher revenue. CrowdStrike is down 1.6%. I did see it trading higher last night after the close. Salesforce, ticker CRM, Charlie Richard Mary, they beat by 20 cents on higher revenue. Salesforce is trading higher by 4.67%. And Nvidia, NVDA, they beat by 4 cents. They did it on higher revenue. If you look at the stock this morning, it's down 3.87%, which is much better than where it was. Upcoming this afternoon, we got Lululemon. Their EPS is $2.96. Their expected move is 10.4%. Autodesk, ticker ADSK. Their EPS is $2. Their expected move is 5.80%. We got Marvel Technologies, MRVL, Michael Richard Victor Larry. Their EPS is 29 cents. Expected move is 10.11%. And then we got DELL Technologies, ticker DELL, David Edward Larry. Their EPS is $1.73. Expected move is 11.58% when they release this afternoon, Emily.
And Bill, you're going to be keeping track of all of that. You're using your NewsWare alerts and an earnings alert to keep track of that. And you're also keeping track of economic data, as we pointed out before. These numbers continue to be important as we wonder what the Fed is going to do next with interest rates. So, Bill, give us a rundown of what we should be watching when it comes to the day's economic events. 3
key reports coming up before the bell. You get the GDP number coming out at 8:30. Remember, this is the second look at the second look at the Q2's GDP. It should remain flat. I don't expect any changes there. Also at 8:30, we got international trade and goods. This is the trade deficit. I expected to narrow by 0.8 billion for July. And then, of course, we've got jobless claims. Jobless claims are expected to come in 225 area. That would be a decrease of 7,000 claims. Okay, then that's good. At 3:30 today, we're going to hear from Raphael Bostic. He's the Atlanta Fed Bank president. Now, he spoke late last night, and he said um, that for much of the year he expected to implement just one rate cut this year, and he expected to do that in the fourth quarter. But inflation has cooled faster than he anticipated, and while unemployment rate, which likely hit 4.3% in July, has moved up more than he expected, he could see additional rate cuts this year. That's kind of positive. That was Raphael Bostic, and he's going to be speaking again today at 3:30 p.m. today, Emily.
Bill, again, keeping track of all of that information using your NewsWare, I can't imagine how you could keep track of all of those earnings releases, all of the economic data, and that Fed speak without having that set up there right on your desktop. You can pull it up and see this information and data in real time. You're also watching real-time data coming out of different sectors and segments. You're watching things like guidance news, shareholders meetings, buyback news, and other catalysts this morning. Every morning you look at your stocks grouped together, like your FANG stocks and your Dow 30 stocks, to really get a good feel of any trends on the trading day. So, Bill, what else do you see is possibly moving the markets today?
I'm doing a quick data check. I'm looking at my Dow stocks. I got 28 higher, one lower, and one unchanged. Wow, that's all green. Looking at my FANG stocks, I'm showing gains across the board for the FANG stocks, which is all positive. I'm looking at the news behind it, like Apple. Apple was named the top AI pick going into 2025 by Citibank. Amazon's planning to install telecommunications equipment in New Zealand to deliver internet from space to the country. Google, Yelp files suit against Google, alleging abuse of position to dominate local search. But you look at shares of Google this morning; they are trading higher by 0.7%. Meta Platforms, ticker META, stocks up about 0.7%. They're planning a new mixed reality device that resembles a bulky pair of glasses. But that's kind of interesting to me because they do have that Quest headset. And they're trying to transform it into a downgraded version where it's a little smaller but more like glasses. Tesla, TSLA, they're apparently asking Canada to lower their tariffs for electric vehicles, which is interesting. That could help Tesla. We're talking Dow Jones 30 stocks. We're talking Goldman Sachs. The Fed cuts Goldman's capital buffer requirement to 6.2% from 6.4%. This is due to the recent stress test earlier this year. Microsoft, ticker MSFT, they're in talks to invest more money in OpenAI. OpenAI is doing another round of funding. They call their valuation well over 100 billion. So wow, that's pretty big. Merck, ticker MRK. Merck is the one stock that's trading lower on the Dow today. And the reason why is because they had 2 phase 3 studies of their cancer drug that they discontinued trials on, and not good. In terms of guidance news, what do we see here? Nothing too exciting. Let's move on to shareholders meetings. Intel, Visa, MasterCard, Cisco, they're all going to be attending the Deutsche Bank conference today. Now, Intel's CEO is going to be speaking at it. He's going to be doing a presentation. This could be something for Intel. I wouldn't be surprised if we see that stock move over 20 today when he starts to talk. In terms of buyback news, we got Nivida. Nvidia's board approved a 50 billion share buyback plan. HPQ, Henry Paul Quintet, HP Inc. increased their share buyback plan to $10 billion. Wow. Catalyst calls MKTX. Citibank opens up a 30-day positive catalyst watch on market access. JetBlue, ticker JBLU. John Boy, Larry Uncle. Citibank opens up a 30-day positive catalyst watch on shares of JetBlue. That's what I have for you about news hitting the tape this morning, Emily.
This is the type of data that NewsWare delivers daily. It's factual, it's market moving, and our alerting functions bring it to your attention as it happens. Go to www.newsware.com now and sign up for the trial and see for yourself the benefits that professional Newswire delivers. It is now that time of the show for the Trade Talk pick of the day. Bill, what is your pick of the day today?
I'm going with Gap Stores, ticker GAP, Grace Apple Paul. Remember, the ticker used to be GPS, Grace Paul Sam, but last Friday was switched over to GAP. So their earnings are due out after the bell today. They're expected to earn 42 cents, which is beatable. The expected move is 6.86%, which is like $1.50. Okay. You look at the call volume yesterday, 18,465 calls traded to 9,461 puts. Not 2-to-1, but close. And then you look at the call open interest, 122.51 versus 106.323. Also positive. I gotta like that. Major brokers do like the stock. They have been raising price targets. They delivered a strong beat last quarter, and I think that trend is going to continue because the summer months are good shopping seasons. For them. I'm hoping to get in. To the stock 22.50, 22.75, somewhere in that range. I think that's doable. But I do think Gap stores could be a nice winner when they release earnings after the bell this morning, Emily.
Gap stores it is today, Bill. And coming up, we're going to do a recap on yesterday's pick of the day, so don't go anywhere. But first, let's take a look at the current breaking headlines that have hit the tape in our hot off the press segment. Bill, take it away.
Okay, let's see. Uber to make a strategic investment in embodied AI firm VEEV. American Eagle sees Q3 operating income 120 to 125 million. All right. Honeywell and Cisco collaborate on an AI-powered solution for building energy use. That's interesting to me. PPG, Paul Grace to sell Silkus product business for 310 million. BZ, Kanzu, their board authorized 150 million share repurchasing program. Mastercraft Boat, ticker MCFT, they delivered it. Well, they were expected to lose 22 cents. Instead, they only lost 4 cents. So it is a nice beat, and they did do it on higher revenue. MCFT. Dollar General's getting hit after missing Q2 results. Let's see what else we got here today. BMRN, BioMarine, they announced workforce reduction plans. They got an Investors Day on September 4th, something to know. Best Buy lifted its annual profit forecast. They say it's due to tighter controls on costs. It's helping the retailer offset the impact from steeper discounts and promotional cost categories. CrowdStrike, CRWD, they cut its revenue and profit forecasts after that July global outage due to its faulty software update. Now think about it. They're being sued by a number of companies. Number one is Delta. Delta took a big hard hit now Delta's earnings don't come out until October, but this is probably going to be the reason why they're going to miss on earnings. I think it's going to be a lot uglier for Delta than what the street has in mind. So I wouldn't want to be long Delta ahead of earnings, that's for sure. Chipotle Mexican Grill, they appointed a new CFO. Google considering building a large data center in Vietnam. Intel announced job cuts recently, so now you get Republican senators coming out questioning them for more details because they just got a chip grant. And that's what I'm seeing this morning, Emily.
Okay, Bill, before we dive into trading today, let's do that check-in on yesterday's pick of the day, which was Pure Storage. The company did report earnings. They reported Q2 EPS of 44 cents. That was 7 cents better than analyst estimates of 37 cents. Revenue for the quarter came in at $763.8 million versus the consensus of $756.02 million. In terms of guidance, they did offer a Q3 2025 revenue view of $850 million, and that was versus the consensus of $810.1 million. They also see a full year 2025 revenue of $3.1 billion, and that was just about in line with the consensus estimates. Now, we're looking at the earnings here, Bill. They met or beat on EPS. They beat on their revenue. They also had good guidance numbers. The stock investors weren't loving it yesterday, but how did your call work out?
It didn't. I got creamed. I mean, listen, the stock opened up at $60.51. I was saying under 60, it did move under 60. In fact, it actually closed at $59.76, but I was never able to get a 1% gain out of it. I mean, you look at the numbers, they beat here, they beat there, they raise this, everything looks good, everything looks positive, except there's one small item where, overall, while everything is positive, their subscriptions, they're expecting lower subscriptions. And the reason why is because they're not really focusing on, larger deals anymore because they take too long to close. Now, it kind of impacts, some of their revenue, we would think. And, that's why the stock's getting hit. They're not going to be focused on big sales anymore. That just seems odd to me, but that's what they said. And that's why the stock's getting hit this morning. But PSTG, just everything looked good. There's a reason why everything looked good. Came through on the numbers. Mark didn't like it. And it happens sometimes. I'm sorry. I'll do better next time. PSTG, not a winner.
Bill, like you say, we will live to trade another day today, and you're able to decipher, dig into those details there to figure out what's going on. Just, a vote of confidence in your strategy and finding that little detail that had investors set off yesterday and this morning. But we will check in with you tomorrow about today's Gap Stores pick of the day. Bill, thank you as always for your expert insight. Join us back here tomorrow to end your trading week with NewsWare's Trade Talk, when we provide the facts, themes, and trading ideas for the day ahead. Again, I'm your host, Emily Advani, here with trading anchor Bill Olson. Traders, you know what to do. Let's go out there and make some green.